Okay, after that, basically you click on next step. Then you choose the network configuration. Again, the same thing like the VPC and the subnets. Okay, you can choose your subnets. Once the subnets are chosen, if you want to choose load balancer, you can just choose the load balancer over here. Which load balancer you want to choose, network, application, classic. Okay, right now I don't have any load balancer, so it's not letting me choose any. But I have to create and then I have to choose. But you can, if your container is one, you can just choose none and then click on next. And then auto scaling is not compatible. And then, you can create this service. When you create this service from the task definition file, automatically that that task is taken up and the image is deployed on the cluster. So this is what happens in the cluster when you, with the help of service, you deploy your you deploy your latest image. Okay, but now coming to the practice part of it, that how are you going to do the practice? So for the practice, I would highly recommend click on get started. When you click on the get started, you can find these uh, you know uh, very good diagram which you can relate. So there are, like, as per this diagram, there are like four components: container definition, task definition, service, and cluster. We discuss about task definition, service, and cluster. These are the three main components. Container definition is not that important. Okay, because you deal with task definition, service, and cluster. Container definition is always automatically worked on. So for you, three components are important: task definition, service, and cluster. And now over here, you can choose sample app so that automatically an application is chosen. And here in sample app, you can see it's creating a task definition file with a name called first run task definition. It is choosing a network VPC and it is using the Fargate. So over here, EC2 is not chosen, Fargate is chosen. So because we are choosing a template which is already there, that's why it has some preloaded configuration. And then you can click on next. Over here, it is asking if in case you want a load balancer or not. If you want load balancer, you can choose load balancer. So I'm going to choose load balancer over here. So it's going to create the security group and it's going to create the load balancer for you. Okay. So we are creating a service over here right now. And because task definition was created in the first step, task definition was created when we clicked on this. This is a task definition which is getting created. In the second step, we are creating a service. This service is going to create a load balancer and it's going to deploy it on cluster. And then you will choose the cluster. So it will create the cluster. So you can just give it a name, whatever name you want to give. Let's say I want to give TC01. This is a cluster which will be created, and click on next. So now you can review. So this is a task definition file which is getting created. This is a service which is creating the load balancer as well. And the cluster is basically, this is a new cluster. Now, when you click on create, you can see the cluster definition file and service. All three things are being created. And these are the additional services which are getting created. Because whenever ECS gets created, it is not just these three components, but also other AWS components are also gets created. So you can see subnets are getting created, security group, load balancer, everything is getting created. So we have to wait until this is completed. Okay, everything is done, you can see. And now I can see the view my service. And when I view my service over here, you can see some details that the sample application is running on this, sample application is running on this container. And one second, task, if I go to task, it's still pending. Okay, it's still pending. So we have to wait for some time. It's running in the Fargate. Okay. And how to access it? One second. If I go to cluster, TC01, and here, one second. I have two options to access it. One is through IP address and another one is the load balancer. Yeah. So when you look at the task, so basically when you click on the cluster, go to the cluster, inside the cluster, go to the task. When you go to the task, click on the task here, and you can take the public IP address. This is the public IP address. Copy it and paste it in the browser. You can see that your sample application is working here. So your application is now running on a container in Amazon ECS. So you can see that your application is running. Now you can access it via public IP address, or if you remember, we created the load balancer. So you can go to load balancer and you can use the load balancer URL. Even that will work. Let me show you. So automatically the load balancer had been created. So you just go and look at the load balancer over here. You will find the load balancer, ECS load balancer. See, this is the ECS load balancer which got created, and you can copy this DNS name. And when you access this DNS name in the browser, see, you can access the same application. So now you can access the same application either with the load balancer URL or with the help of public IP address. So you can see that it is running in the container. Now, if I just go back to ECS, and you look at the container, cluster. In the cluster, you will find the ECS instances. You will not find the ECS instances because it's in the far gate. It's in the far gate. So that's why you don't find any ECS instance over here. Fargate doesn't expose anything related to infrastructure. Okay. And if you want more information, you can just click on this task and you will find more information over here. This is it. So I mean, it's a very easy thing. If it comes to practice, you just need to click on get started and you need to follow these 4 steps and your ECS will be ready. So when it comes to practice, it's going to be very easy. But when it comes to concept, you have to again go back to the concept which we discussed in the class today. Yeah. So once you are done, just delete everything. Yeah, you can see everything is getting deleted. It takes time to delete, so don't just close the window. Let everything gets deleted. Yeah. So this is it, guys. Today, I hope you enjoyed the session. Well, did you enjoy the session, everyone?
Thank you for watching. Switch from non-IT to IT today. Explore www.thinkcloudly.com.